subscribe. Bull, Guardians. Larry Dolan passed away yesterday, R.I.P., 94 years old. He had bought the Guardians/Indians back in the year 2000, and according to Jason and an article that Zach Meisel wrote in The Athletic, the buying of the organization, the Cleveland baseball team, was Larry's baby.
Now, he was no longer running the team.
But it was,
his son
was his, exactly.
Right,
Paul
but it was his passion.
Paul was not necessarily as invested when the first purchase was bought.
Right.
Which then leads to the question of, now that Larry has passed, how does that impact the Guardians' future in terms of potential ownership, spending, plans moving forward?
Yeah.
You enlighten us because you're the expert here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get it. I didn't know that. I somehow didn't realize that Jason and Zach had written an article about it, so I missed that. But I do know that even though he was obviously at 90, what was he, 94?
Yeah,
he was not. He was not involved in running the team anymore.
Yeah.
Obviously, Paul Dolan is. But yeah, as Jason mentioned in our chat group and in this article, the father was the one. He was the one that was most passionate about, owning the team. In fact, he tried to at one point buy the Browns. I don't know if it was. I can't remember when. But anyway, so and Paul Dolan has alluded to the fact that that gave me the impression, reading between the lines, that maybe when his parents passed away, he'd be more open to selling the team. We know that David Blitzer, who's super wealthy, much wealthier than the Cleveland portion of the Dolan family, when he was involved in minority ownership, and at the time when he bought in, he was eventually going to take over. Now, who knows for sure? For me to say I know for sure what this means for the Guardians would be disingenuous. I certainly don't. But if you connect the dots, it might lead you to believe, and maybe I'm just being a little optimistic, that maybe Paul Dolan will now sell that majority stake in the team to Blitzer sooner than even expected. It's been supposedly going to happen in the next few years, next 5 years. It's been in the works. I don't know that we have any details on that officially, but I would suspect that maybe it speeds up the process, that maybe Paul Dolan is like, you know what, this is my dad. I didn't want to sell it when my dad was sick. He was the one who bought the team. Well, my dad, now that he's passed away, maybe we'll sell the team sooner. Again, I'm just speculating based on the information we have. I don't know anything for sure. I think that's a reasonable assumption. Part of me wants to just say that would be great for the team because Blitzer's got a lot more money. Now, there's other parts of ownership than just spending money. That's the one we pay most attention to, obviously. Mm. And the Guardians have been under the Dolan family. They haven't won a World Series, obviously, but they've been a successful franchise. They've been a mostly competitive team. They've put out a competitive product on the field. Yeah, there's certainly flaws. I've made that clear a million times. I've complained about the spending a million times, but it's not a Brown situation where they haven't won. Yeah. I mean, there's been a good amount of winning here. So you always want to be a little careful what you wish for. But I do think if David Blitzer owned the team, I would assume their payroll would go up because he's much wealthier than the Dolans, than the Cleveland Dolans are.
I don't want to like. I'm trying to toe the line here because it's like
the guy just died.
People died.
Kick him out the door.
It's like, great. Right. We're gonna get some money now. And like, So condolences to their family. 94 is a very ripe age, and at least he kept the Indians here, right?
That's right.
There's a point in time where that was up in the air.
Yeah.
So I'll give that to him. But you bring up a really cool point because remember back when we had the Learners, right? Mm-hmm. Lerner passed it on to his son.
Yeah.
And the son was like, hey, I don't got the same passion for this. I got a soccer team. I'm in England half the time. And it seems like, in the case of the Dolans, like, hey, they may have a similar situation where you're inheriting a business that you may not necessarily have the stomach for, as well as the cash flow for, and running it in the way that you want. So maybe this might be a catalyst for them saying, all right, well, I was holding on to it because my old man gave it to me. I was not going to dishonor him by trading it and moving it. Now I can make moves in my own conscience, and my conscience is clear to see what happens with it. So I'll be interested to see how that works. Also, how it works with the television stuff, with this new thing with TV. It's like, okay, now is that not going to be an issue because you do have some revenue coming in because they fixed the Bally stuff. So I'm interested to see how what the Dolans do, because if within the next 1 or 2 years, you hope that they can solidify and at least keep the core together. They got a young manager. They got a nice, and people have shown they'll come to the games. People have shown if they're good, they'll come to the games.
Absolutely, so, yeah.
Tyvis, I don't know what your take is.
I mean, I think that honestly, I think that the situation would be you would try to honor your father. I don't think you would just rush to sell it.
I'm not saying he's going to sell it.
I think it would be one of those things that
yeah.
He's like, you know what, this was my dad's passion. I'm gonna honor my dad by trying to, try to keep this thing going. And then I think he'll realize how hard it actually is and all the things that go into it.
Well, he's been running it anyway for a while.
True.
So
and he'll be like, you know what? This ran its course. It's time for me to step out the way. And I think y'all right. I think eventually the sale does happen, and they ended up getting the other guy in there. And then obviously everybody will be happy that the payroll goes up. But I think Larry Dolan, I think y'all hit on every good point. He kept him here and did all these great things, and we've had some great seasons. So it's nothing to hang your hat on. You was, especially if the plan was to sell the team the majority of the stake anyways. I mean, if your father was alive and that was what the thing was, you would have to honor it by going through with it, So I think that it absolutely happens, and
Is there any chance that he spends more money now?
The current Dolan?
Yeah.
No.
I don't think so.
Not a chance.
Is there I've always no. the way I've always thought about it, I don't understand.
Especially if I know I'm selling it. No.
If I'm like, look, I'm 43 now. Bro, I get up to be in the 70s, and I'm pushing 70.
Yeah.
You're spending it all.
I can't take none of this with me.
What I'd love to see is Paul Dolan say, you know what, I'm out of here in a year. I'm not going to have to pay the money.
Right.
Let's go sign
these deals.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
That's what I'm saying.
That's messed up.
Listen, that be happening with divorces, too. What you mean you co-signed the car?
They ran the car.
They done ran off on the plug. Now, look, to me, I'm 72. How many y'all done seen every part of the world out on vacation? My wife got all the bags. Listen, I need to win this championship, so I want to. I don't care about the rest of that
Bull
stuff.
Messed up, man.
Unfortunately, it's too late now for this year. I mean,
right?
You could re-sign some of your own guys, but there's no big-time free agents left in baseball. So
that's like running some drinks up on somebody else's tab. Hey, whose tab this on? Bulls. Give me 2 more bottles of that good wine.
He was drinking some cheap stuff. Let me get some Heineken.
Get
around a Heineken.
G. Bush is paying for it. Let's go.
Give me that bottle. Give me that Moet.
Do it. So give me a whole bottle of that. Yeah, give me that Ace of Spades.
Now,
Louis the 14th.
Louis the 13th.
Sadly, there's no guarantee that Blitzer will spend more, even though he's richer. But I would hope so.
And how do we even know he's a better owner? Right?
We don't know that.
We don't.
He might come in and start meddling.
Because that's what Jimmy.
That's what Jimmy did.
100%. We were thrilled when Jimmy bought the team.
Oh, it's through the roof.
And he's been a disaster.
He spends money. Jimmy's done a great job, especially paying a young guy by the name of Tyvis Powell. I appreciate it.
So, there you go.
Jimmy, you good in my books.
All right. What's up, Mikey?
We're going to play a game. Ooh.